The Knicks in points, rebounds, and assists. Can he lead them from the abyss? They'll take on the Nets in a half hour. And then we've got LeBron James late night tonight. The Lakers are desperate for wins. They're hosting Utah, and we're counting it down to a doubleheader. It's the NBA on ESPN starting right now.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by Mountain Dew.
We are above the Heineken River deck at Pier 17, and we are ready to go. Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose, I'm Mike Greenberg. We are jam-packed as we head towards the All-Star break this weekend, and our opening tip tonight brings us back to the trade from last week. Both Ben Simmons and James Harden addressed the media just over 24 hours ago. Neither player has an official date for their new team debuts, but with wins at a premium as the season enters the final third, pressure is mounting on them both, as well as several other players across the jam-packed Eastern Conference. So, Stephen A. Smith, which player in the East is under the most pressure?
For me, it's James Harden. I think when you consider what Daryl Morey gave up for him, obviously it's Ben Simmons, it's Seth Curry, it's Andre Drummond. But he gave the Brooklyn Nets, Daryl Morey, everything they needed. And I believe that Brooklyn is better because of it. What you're saying is if you're Daryl Morey, who's been an executive for more than a decade in the NBA, widely respected, not perfect, but widely respected, what you're saying is regardless of how much better it made KD, Kyrie, and the Brooklyn Nets, James Harden arriving in Philadelphia supersedes all of that. When you couple that with James Harden's troubles in the postseason, even though he averages 28, 7, and 5, but only shoot 42% from the field, about 32% from three-point range, lesser numbers in terms of efficiency come playoff time compared to what he does in the regular season. You combine that with what Daryl Morey is basically saying by waiting this long and acquiring him and making Brooklyn stronger, you're saying James Harden supersedes all of that. James Harden is under the most pressure.
I'll take Harden as well for different reasons. How about the fact that he got everything he wants now, including quitting on two teams?
Yeah.
First and foremost, he has it in ownership with Michael Rubin, who's down for the culture. He has it in Daryl Morey, who he had in Houston. And by the way, ran off CP3 from there, who now plays on the best team in basketball. He has Joel Embiid, an MVP caliber big, and he got the streets of Philadelphia. Some of the greatest off the floor have roamed those streets. I don't have to tell you. Wilt Chamberlain, Dr. J, Allen Iverson. He's going to fit right in.
Yeah.
He'll fit right in.
What does he have to do to justify it? What will the Sixers
win
what? How much? Win how much?
He hasn't won. Kyrie and KD have won, right? I mean, so there's no pressure on them. I mean, there's some. I want to say Kyrie, but you can't say Kyrie because he's won. If he stops playing tomorrow, he's got a championship. James Harden doesn't. And he's had a number of cracks at it. Like Stephen A. mentioned, he has performed at a substandard level in the playoffs relative to the regular season. And he sat there at the dais when he was introduced, and he said, this is where I want it to be.
Yeah.
This is the perfect place. I now get to play with guys who really want to win, which basically said, I know he wasn't talking about KD.
No, sorry.
When he
Definitely
wasn't
wasn't talking about
Kyrie.
KD. He was talking about Kyrie
It was a
Irving.
bad look. All right, it was bad form, and the pressure is on him. He's joining a guy who is in the top 3 at minimum for MVP. It's on Harden.
What does he have to do to justify it, Stephen A.? You're the one, you said it on First Take today, that he's under the most pressure he's ever been in. Do they have to win a championship for him to overcome this, to justify the deal?
They have to win the East, which means they have to be better than Brooklyn. Remember, you made a deal. It's not like you made a deal just to make Brooklyn better. You made a deal with Brooklyn knowing they already had KD and Kyrie, and that filling in the pieces, an elite defender, a playmaker, an athletic playmaker at that, another shooter, somebody to buffer their front line on the front court with Andre Drummond in terms of rebounding. But every weakness that the Brooklyn Nets had, you basically said, I know these pieces are going to help them, but I don't care because James Harden is worth it. And with James Harden saying what he said, like Wilbon pointed out, in his Philadelphia 76ers press conference, he basically put the world on notice this is where he wanted to be. He knew that Tillman Fertitta and the Houston Rockets were not going to make a deal with Daryl Morey in Philadelphia because Daryl Morey had left them abruptly. This is what it's all about. This is what you wanted all along. You got it. You got to deliver.
And he's been noted as one of the greatest players of all time with the top 75. But here's the other thing. Not only has he flamed out in the playoffs, but some really bizarre losses. Having like 13 turnovers one time with the Lil B curse. And then against the San Antonio Spurs when he was looking disinterested. And so now he gets a chance to reinvent himself, Greeny. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to have some theater.
It's going to be very interesting to watch. I mean, this trade did a lot of things for the NBA. It certainly made the last third of this season fascinating in the Eastern Conference. Speaking of which, we've got the Knicks and Nets coming your way at the bottom of the hour here on ESPN. And don't miss out on DraftKings Sportsbook, who is an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And today, new customers can bet $1 on any game and win $150 in free bets if any points are scored in that game. Use the code SPLASH when you sign up. Coming up, General Hospital is not Stephen A's only soap opera. Is all this drama good for the NBA? The answer to that question might surprise